Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Vandy, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I know I have been really behind schedule. It is so hard to keep up with a consistent posting schedule, but I promise I am working on it. I didn't want to go another week without posting something for you guys and responding to your questions. Some of you have inboxed me with questions, and some of you have sent them anonymously. Some of you have left them in the comments, and we're going to cover most of those today. So tonight we're going to chat some braid business and beat my face in the process. But first, before we get started, let's acknowledge the correct answers from our last video's pop quiz. I really appreciate you guys coming through and showing up and showing out. Your comments actually help the channel grow and help us get this content to the people who need it. And your participation helps build a community of positive individuals who are on the same track. If you would like to participate in this video's pop quiz, make sure you pay attention, take your notes, and stay tuned to the end for a chance to be featured in our next video. Now that we've got that out the way, let's get started. So this is actually my 10-minute makeup routine. This is what I do on a consistent basis, even when I'm going to work every day. I've actually been trying to go makeup free for a while, but as you can see, I've had quite a few setbacks, but I'm working on it. So I won't go into detail about what I'm doing or how I'm doing, but if you'd like details on the products that I'm using and step by step, let me know in the comments below if you would like a dedicated video for that. And we're not going to talk about old girl right here. All right, so first up, the last braid school video that we did, we talked about mermaid braids. From the research that I was able to get, as far as who named it and all of that stuff, that was the creator that I was able to find. That's where I saw it initially. However, all of the techniques are basic braiding techniques, just mashed up together. We just found a new way to package it up in a beautiful deal for you guys. So one thing to note, I wear lash extensions and I am due for a refill tomorrow, so don't worry about these wayward lashes. So one of the steps in that particular video required that we flat iron the hair or press the hair in some sort of way to release the texture out of it. The original creator said do it beforehand. I did it after the fact. It doesn't matter which way you do it. However, when I was doing it again, it made more sense to just dip all the hair at once. So I posted this video. So everyone's been asking me the same question, why did I dip the hair before I installed it? In the last braid school video, I did a full tutorial on mermaid braids inspired by this creator here. And I tried to follow her instructions to the T. That includes pressing the hair before you install it. But y'all know me, time is money, so I'm going to find a shortcut or a more efficient way to get this process done more effectively. So the whole purpose of dipping the hair is to remove the texture out of the braiding hair. The goal is to get it silky smooth so that you can easily style it and brush and comb through it. In the tutorial, I did not prep the hair in advance. I just went through and pressed out each braid as I was going along. I actually did find this to be more effective because I was able to get the heat on all of the hair. However, passing it with a flat iron does not distribute the heat evenly. So I went back to the drawing board and I realized that, hey, I could just do all this in one go. So what I did was I dipped all of the hair at once the day before, hung it on my rack to air dry. When I came back the next morning, it was about 80% dry, so just to make sure it wasn't going to tangle up while I was prepping it, I blow dried it with my paddle blow dryer. Here's a side-by-side example. On the left is the braiding hair in its original form, and on the right is the hair dipped. So you see how it's a lot smoother and a lot shinier. The texture has been. Other questions asked was, is the hair synthetic? Yes, the hair is all synthetic. It's synthetic braiding hair. That's why it's super cheap. But you can achieve the same results as boho braid with that type of hair for a fraction of the cost. Someone also commented that they used to make braiding hair that was already silked out like that, and they did, but they stopped making the hair because it was not in high demand. So now we have Canacolon hair, which we can manipulate and maneuver however we want to. Yes, you can blow dry the hair. However, blow drying takes a whole lot longer. And yes, you can pour the water on top of the hair. However, you do waste a lot of the heat with the water the more you pour it over, which is why I put it in the bowl and I dip the hair that way. But y'all know me, There are so many different ways to achieve the exact same end result. So whatever works for you, works for you. So in the past week, a couple of hair braiding specific hair videos went viral on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, when they do that, people send them to me for my thoughts. So let's check out the first one.
I removed all of these braids out of my head in under an hour. When I first got these braids, everyone was like, they're so gorgeous, they're tiny, but they're gonna be so hard to take out. I would be in disbelief too, but just watch. Wait until you see this takedown process. My braider, Janae, has this like specific method where you just slip the braids out. Like, I'm gonna have all of these braids in my head out in an hour. In an hour. I just did a FaceTime with her and she explained the process. She will also come to you and do this if you'd like. But look at that. It's not like there's no hair, there's no breakage, and I'm just simply slipping. She said to do it with oil. You can also just put oil directly in your scalp. But I mean, I'm literally just using my fingertips and slipping the braids out. Have you ever seen anything more incredible in your entire life?
So I totally get it. Everybody wants the easiest takedown process ever. A couple of things to note: her braids are micro braids, which is something I don't offer. My shop does not offer. You really need to find a specialist who offers micro braids. The method that the braider was using is like a slip method. I don't know what the actual terminology is for it. Matter of fact, we really need to come up with like a braid dictionary or something that everybody can go by. But anyway, so yeah, she's using a slip method for micro braids, which requires the client to have enough hair and inches to hold at least a strand or two of braiding hair. I actually covered this in the 8 ways to start a box braid tutorial. The first two methods, the 2-strand method and the 2-strand wrap method, because you're using the natural hair as your third leg, then it's easy for the hair to just slip right out. The only con with that is that if you are the type of person who is very rough with your hair, you're in and out of water all the time, you have fine hair texture, that may not be the best option for you, especially if you're wearing it up and manipulating it a lot, because your braids could slip out. If you have really fine texture, it's probably not going to work very well for you because the hair has nothing to grip onto. But if you have a more coarser texture, then the hair has something to hold on to. That way, all you have to do is just kind of tug on it and pull. So the braider did make it very clear that these are not knotless micros. They just look knotless because the knot is kind of underneath the root, and it can be done on all sizes. However, it does kind of look a little weird when you're doing it on larger sizes. So that's why it works very well for micros, because it's kind of an invisible look. That's why I tell folks all the time, we got to be very careful about what we say and how we say it when we're posting this content, because she clearly said it was knotless braids, and they're not knotless braids. All right, so on to the next one. This one had me giggling so hard because this has been on the internet before, and the myth was completely busted pretty quickly, but let's get into it. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with what they are doing here. My only qualm with that is you're wasting product. You're just wasting product away. Water in general dilutes everything. And hot water especially completely burns off the chemicals, and it also dilutes the product as well. Example, Gots2B is a water soluble product, which means water dilutes it. Water releases the active ingredient in it. So spraying Gots2B on wet braids does absolutely nothing. So when you're pouring your product into boiling hot water, what do you think is going to happen to the active ingredients in that product? They're going to dissolve, and they're not going to have the same results that you normally would when you're using the product per the instructions. So yeah, I didn't really fuss with the comment section on this one because so many people had sent it to me. Oh, did you try this? Oh, did you try this? Tried it. Been there, done that. When I tell y'all I've been doing this for so long, I've been doing this for so long. The proper way to use the product is to put it on after you dip the hair so that the product has something to stick onto. By putting it in boiling hot water, you are diluting the active ingredients. I think that was the Vigorol mousse. I always use Vigorol mousse on synthetic hair because it has the best results, gives it the best shine, and also clumps curls up very well. I remember a similar video like that was circulating some years ago, and it was debunked pretty quickly. It's a lot like when people were putting the Gots to Be gel on synthetic curls. I tried it and it didn't work because it just made the curls a sticky mess. It circulated the internet a couple of months ago and I haven't heard or seen anybody else promoting it. So, are we trying these things out from beginning to end before we're posting them? At the end of the day, still, to each his own. If that's what you want to do with your product, by all means, go for it. But my personal professional opinion is, don't waste your product. All right, so real quick before we close out, we had an anonymous question submitted on the online forum. Hello, I am new to the braiding community, and when I'm braiding, some braids seem to turn. Some don't have that flat look to them. Not sure if this makes sense. It does make sense. Love your classes and videos. Thank you. So we did cover this a couple of videos ago when we talked about borrowing. Borrowing is inevitable. If you don't borrow, the more you move down the braid, the less likely your strands are going to be equal. You have to have equal strands as you continue going down the braid. Another thing you might want to keep in mind is hand placement. Make sure your thumbs are keeping the braid flat as you braid along as well. You just need to make sure that once you start seeing a leg that is not like the others, you need to start borrowing from the others to make them even again. I see it all the time, especially when braiders get to the end, they get a little lazy. That causes those little knots at the bottom. That can easily be fixed by just borrowing from another strand. Again, braiding is something that takes a lot of practice. So even if you're not working with a live head, you need to be practicing with your mannequins. Pop quiz time. Again, I'm going to make this very simple. We just talked about this in today's video. One thing that kind of grinds my gears is when people spend lots of money on products and they waste the product usage. Every product has its own active ingredients and its instructions so that you can use it properly and obtain the best results. So today's question is, what does hot water do to water soluble products? And bonus points, list some other products in the comment section that are water soluble. Leave your correct answers in the comment section below for a chance to be featured in our next video. Final touches. As always, if you learned something, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and tell a friend. Forgot to tame these little bit of lashes. If you're new to the channel or new to the braiding community, hit that subscribe button on your way out for more videos and more content like this. If there is a specific question or concern you would like demoed on the channel, drop them in the comments below, or you can leave them anonymously at the link provided in the description box below. Thanks so much for stopping by tonight. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.